What I'd like to talk about first is to tell you guys a little bit about Omni Open Studios. So Omni Open Studios was a response to the current pandemic situation where everybody we can't really do in-person events anymore, and a lot of artists rely on in-person events for their income. And so by being able to do this online, where we can all bring all these people together, we also realized that you could bring literally anyone anywhere, and we all meet here and be able to participate in the same thing. So that's like a cool silver lining about this. Another thing that I want to talk about today is that we're also supporting equal justice by donating a certain portion of our funds to the Bail Project. So the Bail Project is an organization that offers financial assistance to those who cannot afford bail. It helps defendants secure transport to and from their court dates. It also reunites families and restores the presumption of innocence. And another cool thing about the way the Bail Project works is any money that goes into the Bail Project can be recycled and used for multiple defendants. So once a trial is over, that money comes back to the Bail Project and then gets to be used again and again. So it's a really cool and efficient way. It's a great place to donate money to. So that's something that we're going to be supporting with a portion of donations from our artists to the Bail Project. Another thing I'd like to mention is we have a button on our page, which again is the one that you used to get here, that allows you to pay directly to the artists if you want to support them, if you want to pay them for their time for being here, or just shoot them a little tip. That is an option for doing that. You'll see that on the page. It's just a little button that says pay what you can on it. So with that in mind, let's get to the really exciting things. So the first thing I've got for you guys is going to be a drawing. So we're going to do a drawing for each of the artists have donated an item that you guys can win. And the way the drawing works is you're going to put your name and your email down in the chat box once we open it up for that. So everybody keep an eye on the chat box. Let me show you our first item. So screen share. That's not it. Okay, sorry about that. Here's our first item. You got a little preview of all the other ones there. Our first item is by Alex Bell. It's a pair of beautiful ginkgo acrylic pendant earrings. So if you guys are interested in owning these earrings right now in the chat box, you can put your name and email. We're gonna leave that open for 5 minutes. Get your name into the chat box. We'll close it out after those 5 minutes, and then I will announce the winner at the end of my first interview. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my first artist. She's a good friend of mine. She's an educator, and here she is. Let me bring her up for you. Jess Graff. Change host. Hi, Jess. Can we hear you?
Hi.
We can hear you. Yay!
Hi, everybody.
Look, it worked. I did it.
Yay.
All right. So Jess Graff is a good friend of mine. Do you not have Gizmo with you?
I do. He's sleeping on my lap, but I'll hold him up so you can.
Yeah, hold him up. So the most important thing is to introduce Gizmo, who is Jess's studio dog. Very important part of her process. So Jess, you're an educator. What are you doing right now in your education?
So right now I'm teaching kindergarten through 8th grade art at a school up in Vancouver, Washington. And then I'm also teaching a lot of virtual programs through libraries and other community organizations while also doing my own work. So busy all the time.
Nice. And that's really cool. And it's a difficult time to be doing that kind of teaching. Yeah. So you have to make certain adaptations to do these things, especially with, with the coronavirus situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your art. You do some illustrations through cut paper.
Yes, I do cut paper illustrations. I've got some that I can show you if now is a good time.
Yeah, I'd love to see them. Let's look at them.
Yeah, if we'll switch over to my doc cam.
Awesome.
Can you, let's see, there we go.
You should have host benefit.
All right, can everybody see?
Hey, there we go.
I've got an image up on the screen here. So cut paper illustration is an art form that I really love. So basically I'm drawing, but instead of using traditional materials, I'm using a blade. So as I'm doing that, I'm always doing everything in reverse. So I'll sketch out an idea, I'll sketch out my designs. That's especially tricky with words because I have to go backwards while I'm writing it. And I'll cut all those pieces out. So if I sketch something like this little mouse, I would have to cut around with each of those things until that shape pops out.
Can I ask you why you have to do it in reverse?
What's that?
Can I ask you why you do it in reverse?
Yeah, I do it in reverse because sketching that design out in pencil is really important. But if I left the pencil, some of those lines, some of the sheen of the pencil would show up in the finished project. That way, we end up with something that's really crisp and clean on the side that's finished. And also the way the blade goes in the paper, you can really see it if you're going into the side, if you're carving into the front. The way that the shine happens on those edges is really different if you do it on the reverse side. So just little things make a big difference in how things turn out in the end.
So can you tell us a little bit about the piece we're looking at?
Absolutely. So this was a piece that was inspired by a lot of the social justice conversations that are happening right now. And one of the things that has been really important to me is listening to people's lived experiences. And we can't really learn about what someone is experiencing if we're not really willing to openly listen to that. And so that's what that piece was about, and sort of that friendship, that camaraderie, and that willingness to really try to see a different perspective as well.
That's beautiful. That's one of my favorite pieces. I remember when you put that up. This was a few months back when the protests were really like in their full swing. Yeah. And it was such a relevant piece. I really love it.
Yeah.
So you also do custom commission pieces too.
I do.
Right?
Yeah. Yep, I do. And I'm going to do essentially a special. So if you're watching this video, I'm doing a special where if you'd like to custom order a 6" by 6" piece, so that's the size that this is too, you can choose something like a plant or an animal or another topic. And those 6" by 6" pieces are going for $36 each, which is way lower than I would normally do. So that's just a special for this program.
That's very cool. Thank you for doing a special for us. We really appreciate that. And how long does a piece like this, so the 6" by 6" that you're talking about, how long would one of those take you to create?
Yeah, it depends on the specific piece and the complexity of it. But there's the sketching part of the process, there's the cutting part of the process. So it's at least an hour. If there's faces or more complicated shapes, it's more than that. So
right.
It's a big deal for sure.
It is a big deal. And in addition to that, as your friend, I have heard about the day after you've done several cut pieces, how you have sore hands because it takes a lot of muscle energy in your hands
to
all the precise little cuts.
It really does.
It's not just something like running it through, like if you could use a plotter or something like that would help out for you. This is by hand.
Because I'm doing every single little line with the X-Acto blade.
And another fun question for someone who's worked with an X-Acto blade: how many times do you have to change blades in one?
Frequently, I change about once every small piece. I need a fresh blade, and if I'm doing a larger piece, I might change blades 4 to 6 times depending on the piece. And if I were to go even bigger, so most of the time I'm working within about a maximum size of about 24 inches, but if I went even bigger than that, I'd have to change that blade even more often.
Makes sense. Absolutely. So, okay, all of your cut paper prints are available on Etsy, right? Or well, not all of them, but you have some on there. Do you want to? I have some.
Yeah, I have some on Etsy, and I also have some designs, some patterns that I've made paper cuts of that I'm shifting over to things like pins and other products as well.
Okay, and you've got stickers too, right? Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, and I can show all of those too. We can walk over.
Yeah, let's go look at what you've got laid out for us. That'd be fantastic.
Okay, great. So we're gonna take a little walk through the studio. We're gonna hop back to my dock cam here. And we're going to take a little walk. So you should be seeing me from a different angle than you were just seeing me. And I'll just rotate us around in the studio so you can kind of see what's going on here. So there's out on my chair. And for those of you that haven't met me, I collect things like bones and other natural history objects as well. So if you saw those, that's what that's about. So these are some of the products that I've got available right now. Some of these are on the website, and some of them are not. So you can kind of take a look at those, and I'll see if I can set this down in a way that's going to be a little bit more stable.
Oh, wow. I love the way you've laid this all out.
Oh, thank you.
So good.
Thank you. Yeah, so all of the pieces that I've got mini prints of, things like this, are all pieces that originally were cut paper illustrations, and those are mini prints. I also make things like stickers and lamb stickers, and other paper stickers as well. So lots of different kinds of projects and products, as well as the pins and things like that. So,
oh, look at those pins. Those are cool.
yeah, and some of those products are available on my shop on Etsy, and some of those products are things that you can especially request. Say that you've seen them on here, or you can inquire about custom designs as well.
Okay. Beautiful. And then you've got some, it looks like you've got some sculptural pieces too. Could you hold some of those up so we can see more detail?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got some pieces like these sculptural abstracted figures, and these are all wall hanging as well. So they have a small hole in the back there that they just slide right onto a nail. So they're really, really easy to hang. They're all balanced already, so they'll hang in the correct orientation. If you have a nail in that spot. And I've got the full figures are $35, and the small pieces like the lips and the butts, which are really popular. They make a lot.
Oh yeah, show us a butt. Oh, those are so cute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a pair of boobs that are from the same collection.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're so fun.
Yeah. So same thing. They all have a little hole in the back, so they can hang really
on a nail.
Well. And then you get sort of a pick me up or a little giggle.
Yeah, a little giggle.
It's kind of nice. It's nice to give yourself a little right. treat right now too.
I had a pair of the boobs hanging up in my bathroom, and people would come back from the bathroom and be like, "Did I see a little tiny pair of breasts in there?" Yes, you did. So the cut paper prints are available on your link, which I just posted in the chat, everybody. But the sculptures, those are only available by request. So if you would like to buy a sculpture from Jess, go ahead and put that request into the chat, which you should all have available to you. So you can just say something you like. If you like one of the women with the figures. We can't see all of the things right now. Maybe we could back up.
Yeah, so let's see. So I've got the planter pots, also available by request. The ornaments and earrings are also available by request. Those are also more earrings. The stickers you can find on the Etsy, but all of the figures, again, the full figures are $35, and the little tiny ones, the little tiny porcelain ones are $25 each. And then things like the prints, you can either request in the chat, or you can find some of them on my Etsy as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I think that's the end of what we had to chat about. So we will go ahead and head back over. Let's see, I'm going to reclaim my host position. And that was Jess Graff. And everybody, please go ahead and check out that link that is in the chat. Okay. And I'm gonna, okay, say bye, Jess.
Bye. Checking out my studio.
All right. Thanks, everybody. That was great. Thank you, Jess. That was fantastic. You have beautiful, beautiful work. So, all right, now we have our first winner to announce. So the first winner, let's see, who have we got over here? Looks like it's Peg Falconer. And Peg, what we'll do is we'll have Alex contact you directly with the information about how she's going to get those earrings to you. So congratulations, Peg. You are the winner, the lucky winner of a fine new pair of earrings. And now I'm going to show you guys what we've got next, because we're doing another drawing. So let me do a quick screen share here. Hopefully I've got my photos in order this time. Ah, yes, here we go. Okay, so those are the earrings that Peg has won. And then we have this beautiful 8x10 print of Aqueous Ion Dissolution from Renee and Claire, and who we will be hearing from later. They're going to show us their studio and they're going to show us their process. So this is now up for grabs. You can go ahead and start putting your name into the chat. And yeah, I will check in back in with you and announce the winner after that. So again, 5 minutes to get your names in there. Put your name, and please put your email with your name. It's really important that we have your email as well, or we won't be able to contact you to give you your prize. All right, awesome. So yeah, quick reminders. At the top of the chat, there is a program where you can find the websites for each of our artists. Really important. And then yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next artist. So our next artist is going to be Alex Bell. You remember the earrings from earlier? This is the gal who makes them. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Hi. Your studio looks so bright and colorful.
Thank you. Here, I'll back the camera up just a little bit more.
Just a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, so this is one corner of a shared office, and this is my studio space.
So you are an artist, but you also are a graphic designer, which I attest is another form of art. And I feel like these two things really go hand in hand for you, because one of the big things with what you're working with your beaded earrings is color. And graphic design is all about color.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I studied abstract expressionism in college, and specifically color field painting. So I've like always been just very drawn to that. And yeah, that's like kind of one of the biggest draws to art for me, is just getting to play with bright colors. So
very cool. And then like I've noticed in a lot of the photographing that you do, the product photography that I've seen on your page, you use Pantones as kind of like an inspiration for developing color palettes.
Yeah, totally. So Pantone swatches, which I have their like postcard set here just to kind of share with you guys. But yeah, Pantone is like a universal colors matching system. So it's very common in graphic design, especially because you're have to be very precise about color matching for branding and things like that. So yeah, I love just looking through these and getting inspiration, and I do use them in my product photography sometimes.
Yeah, they're really cool, and they've got like a novelty that like people recognize, because you know it's an industry standard for printing, for graphic design, and for a number of other areas. So it's something that like people connect with. I know when I saw the Pantones in there, I was like, oh cool, yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely has a little, like not little, it has a huge following.
Huge following, yeah, exactly. So, okay, well, let's see what you make your designs with. You've got your beads that you wanted to show us, I think.
Yeah, I thought it would be fun to show you guys like how I store and organize them. So I'm gonna adjust the camera, and I'm gonna try and do it slowly. I don't want to make anybody seasick.
Okay, yeah, don't make anybody sick.
Okay. Flip the camera around. So I store my beads in kind of like two primary areas, this little drawer system, and then they're all like color coded. So like we've got all of our red ones, you know, yellow's one of my favorite colors. So this is like jammed full. And then, so yeah, this is kind of primary storage. And then if I pan over here, nice and slow, I've got backup storage. Yeah, let's see. Go out. This is kind kind of the main area, I guess. And then if I flip around, I have more beads. Oh, that's a cat. That's my cat Pretzel.
Beautiful. Yes, we're doing a lot of studio pets today. What's your name, real quick?
Yeah, this is Pretzel. He's a goober.
Oh, hi Pretzel. He's a good studio cat. Really keeps to his own space.
Yeah, and his bed was a gift from Joyce and Tim Gabriel. So they have a little spot in our studio.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk a little bit about like designing and how that goes?
Great, let's do it.
Okay.
I see you've got a couple of earrings out and your little beading area.
Yeah, so I will use this is Adobe Illustrator, which is more of like a graphic design program, although I think a lot of industries can use it.
Yes.
But this is one tool that I use for designing earrings. So I will like draw out all the little beads and then color them in and make my patterns. The other way that I do it is on Procreate on my iPad. So I created these bead grids for myself, and then I'll like design and fill them in and try out a gazillion different colorways and try and pick my favorite. But that's how that goes.
These are really cool. These are some of the Scandinavian influenced ones, right?
Yeah, so this is like the folk flowers pattern that I've been working in lately. There's two versions. There's this one with like one main kind of tulip, and then this version of the pattern that's a little bit smaller. And then this is what it looks like in bead form.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love
these are scallops. These are different.
I see some questions popping up, and I just want to remind people that the artists will be able to answer your questions, but they're going to do it when they are off camera. So when they will get to you soon, though. So don't worry.
Yeah.
So okay, great. Those so you're using Illustrator to your designing, and you've got all of your tool. Do we get to see your little tools and your pliers?
Oh yeah. So let's see.
Show us what you work with.
Obviously, like lots of tubes of beads, pliers, and like little scissors. I can show you.
Those tips are like really good for getting into the tight spaces between beads when they're already in a weave, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like super.
They're super
super sharp.
like the needle nose of scissors.
Yeah, they're really helpful. I'll show you. Yeah, the bead mat that I use. I get a lot of questions on Instagram about this because it's got a felt kind of foam base to it, so it's easier to pick the beads up on this material. And then it has a top to it that clips in like that and folds down, so you can take it
with you. Yeah, that's so great. Like in case you're traveling or something, or you're doing it and I remember seeing something, you do these on your lunch break, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, especially when we were going into the office, I would bring this with me every day and do it on my lunch break. So this is the earring I'm in the middle of today, is this kind of olive green color. I call this style the danglers.
Yeah.
They have a lot of movement.
Those are fun and long. Yeah. Really elegant.
Yeah, they're like over 4 inches long. They're so fun to wear.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you also are doing some commission work right now. And so one of the ideas that we talked about for the commission work was people downloading the bead grids and then being able to like kind of design their own earrings, right?
Yeah, so the idea spawned from, I was at a different open studio event last year. I was chatting with a lady and her kiddo, and we were talking about how cool it would be for the kiddo to like color in the bead grid, which is this, which is the same one that I work with to design, and then like I could beat, like the kiddo could design it, I would beat it, and then it would be such an amazing gift for like a grandma or a mom or anybody with pierced ears.
Yeah. That is a tricky thing with earrings, is it always has to be pierced ears. You have to know that someone has the pierced ears. But
Yeah, I mean, that being said though, I've totally done clip-ons for people too. So I do keep a couple clip-on hooks on hand for folks.
oh, that's great. What a great idea for people that don't want to have a giant hole in their ear, or a little tiny hole. Excuse me. It's just a little tiny hole. Okay, guys, so in the chat right now, I'm going to post a link to Alex's grids so that you guys can go there and download those from her and start designing your own earrings. I mean, how exciting is that? You have someone fill in all the colors and they come back to you and Alex creates this beautiful pair of earrings for you, totally custom. So let's see, the grids. And we got your link in the chat. And I think that was pretty much all we were going to talk about, Alex. Thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for organizing this. It's been a treat.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to reclaim host and I'm going to bring up our next person. All right. Bye, Alex. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm back. Okay, so we've got our next winner. I've just got to scroll up in the chat and find them. Let's see. Okay, so the winner for the 8x10 print is Debbie Abel. And Debbie, artists Renee and Claire will get to you with the details about how to get that via your email. So yeah, just look for that email and congratulations. It's a beautiful print you won. So now we have another drawing coming up and let me pull up the screen share for that. And I think I closed down. Oh, I sure did. This isn't as pretty. You can see my crazy desktop. All right, so that's the last one. Here's the next one. So we have a beautiful piece by Emily Miller. This is an adorable tiny sea urchin bowl that is a ceramic piece. And yeah, go ahead and start putting your names down in the chat. We need name and email, please, to sign up for this. And yeah, 5 minutes to give you guys time to put your names in there. Then we'll cut off the chat. And not the chat, just the drawing. We'll cut off the drawing and then I will announce after our next artist. So just remember, guys, questions in the chat. If you guys have requests for something you'd like to purchase, go ahead and do that in the chat. If you want to get a link for one of the artists, all of the links to their websites are at the top in our program. And I'm going to be posting links for the artists that are talking right now about what they're talking about so that you can get to those quickly and easily. All right. So our next person, we're gonna bring on Miss Z. Are you ready, Miss Z? Let's bring you in. So I'm gonna make you the host. Change host, there you are, hi.
Hi,
how's it going? Oh good, we can hear you, fantastic. That's always the like nerve-wracking thing is like in a live event, you never have to worry about whether someone's voice is gonna actually be there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And this is like nice because normally I have my headphones in, so this is the first time I'm like doing this without headphones, so I'm glad I can hear everybody too.
Yes, I love your top, by the way. You look so nice.
Oh,
oh, and real quick, while we're talking about tops, I'm wearing the Veil Project top.
Oh, I love it. Nice. Way to
So,
represent.
guys, remember how valuable the Veil Project is. You can also go and donate to them as well. All right, so let's talk about. So you are an artist, but you're also an educator. Right now, you're primarily doing art stuff because of the COVID situation. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the education that you do.
Yeah, so I was an educator for about 8 years, primarily in the Bay Area, mostly like in San Francisco and in Oakland. So I've worked with ages from like preschool up to high school. And then since moving back down to LA, I've been actually like dabbling in teaching elderly, so seniors, which is like
how cool.
a whole other realm. But yeah, but as a teacher, I kind of like to dabble in a bunch of different kinds of mediums, which I also like to do in my art as well. Just because it's just like really fun for me to experiment with all different kinds of mediums. Plus, I also feel with the people who I get to teach, like not everyone has the same kind of interest. So I kind of like to leave it open for them to kind of choose where their strengths are and just really like explore in all these different realms. So like what I've what I've taught is like beginning ceramics. I've done a little spray painting with students, painting, drawing, working with textiles, so learning how to sew and like make clothes and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
Or
You,
like
you really do, you do everything.
yeah, I know, the list could just like keep going.
Yeah, I love artists that do everything, because I'm one of those artists, and I'm always like, when I meet someone else that does that, I'm like, oh, good. There's other, like, this is a thing. Like, we're all doing this. We're all busy. We all have so many things we're interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about your process too. So that's the teaching you do, but you also, you have your own projects that you're working on right now, including one that we're going to be giving away a print of later in the thing, which is the Black Lives Matter print.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about your process for putting that together.
Yeah, I actually have a little slideshow for that.
I would love to see your slideshow. Let's do the educator.
Yeah, I know, it's my teaching habit. So, but it's all like pictures. There's not going to be like.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So I will screen share. Okay, sharing this.
All right.
You can see my messy desktop.
Right.
So
I know, everybody saw mine too. Messy desktop city.
Yeah. Oh, let me make this bigger and move us over. Okay, cool.
Great.
I will put that away. Okay, so this is just like a photograph of what my studio looks like, which is really just like a section of my bedroom.
Yep.
So yeah, so this is like my desk area where I primarily like work on doing like textiles and sewing, and then this is also where like the sketching goes down. So this is where I like kind of start brainstorming like my grandiose ideas.
Nice.
But then also what I have like on my desk that I like to kind of keep inspiration around me. So if you look at the image that's on the right hand side, like this is like a print I did of my teacher from high school, Miss Casamara, who was like such a big inspiration for me and really opened my eyes to really expanding my creative realm versus just only you know, drawing and painting realistically. So she really helped me kind of find my own voice with my art. But yeah, and then just having like prints of other artists as well, which I really love supporting other artists. So I'm really happy to be a part of this whole artist talk too, and to hear everyone's processes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
Oh, thanks. And this is transitioning. So, okay, because I don't have like my own studio, I just like kind of make the most out of whatever space that I have. So I do live in a house with other people who have, which shout out to my classmates who are in.
Let me use the kitchen. Yes.
Yeah, so this is
so kind.
our dining room. So they have been so nice and generous to let me take up like half of our dining room table to do like when I do my painting work.
That's supportive.
Yeah, they're really great. I'm very lucky. So yeah, so this is kind of what that looks like. So yeah, and then there are other realms of like where I need to work. Like I just kind of realized like as an artist, I need to kind of keep moving around to different spaces. If I stay in one spot, it just kind of disrupts my like creative flow. So it really helps for me to kind of just be in a few different spaces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So can you show us some of the sketches that you're doing? Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you though. But yeah, what I'm going to be showing is like the process of what it took for me to create the Black Lives Matter poster, which is this is like the final result of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so these are just some snippets from my sketchbook, which is like crazy messy, and I know some of these notes don't make sense,
but they make sense to you, and that's what's important. That's how notes. I mean, the sketchbook is really for the artist.
Yeah. So it goes in. I don't have like a very strategic format of how like my pieces, you know, come about. So it kind of like really varies on what the subject matter is for it. So, but usually like I put out like a few like thumbnail sketches, and then I kind of like write a few notes if I already can picture in my mind what this piece is going to already look like. Or sometimes like it'll go in the form of me writing more, like doing word maps or something. But then it evolved once I like kind of have the gist of the ideas laid out. Then I start getting into sketching, like what I want it to kind of look like. So I kind of just like took these two different forms and combined them into the final piece that you saw earlier, which I'll show also later afterwards as well.
The broken handcuffs is such a like, it's such a like a powerful symbol too here.
Yeah,
so beautiful.
so like, yeah, no, thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Well, because it resembles what's happening now, but it also kind of it kind of suggests like shackles of slavery and stuff too.
Yeah,
It goes back to history. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Sure. Yeah, because like the feel that I was going for, I mean, just like with everything that was happening, like with the protests, like when they were first starting, and then like with them currently going on, like I just had a lot of like emotions going through my mind and my head, knowing like people that have been involved in these unfortunate circumstances, and then also thinking about my students as well. So kind of like, well, the image on the left was actually the original idea for the poster, but then I felt that it needed something a little bit stronger. I felt it didn't speak enough about the anger and pain that I was feeling anyway. So that's why I kind of transitioned to incorporating the casket on the side, and having the hands, the position of the hands change to it being like the person is getting out of the casket, being like resurrected, but which I'll get into more of those details later. But then it came to the back side of finding all the names of all the people that I wanted to commemorate who have lost their lives through police brutality. And on the bottom that you see here, these are just only like a few of the websites that I have researched. There were many more that I went through, but I can't remember all of them because I kind of just went through a rabbit hole through all of them. Really great resources though, if you want to get more educated about it. Those resources are available, and I can also like copy them into the chat for those.
Yeah, that'd be great. Feel free to do that when we're off.
Yeah, but during my research of just finding all these names, I wanted to kind of humanize those names and those numbers. So I was, not only like finding the names, but also seeing if I could like find out more about the person themselves.
Right. And
the common thread that I was finding in this unfortunate, very long list was these points right here of like people have just a history of, either they're mentally ill, or they were just racially profiled, or they were falsely criminalized, or they were just trying to survive, and or also unarmed, which was just really unfortunate to find. So some of a few people that I wanted to note was like, for instance, like Tamir Rice, who's like 12 years old, who was just like playing in a park with like a BB gun, and and someone called the police on him, and but to commemorate his life, he was like a very athletic boy who played like all kinds of sports. He was also really creative, and he participated in this rec center in the park that he was shot at. He participated in this rec center in doing all these different kinds of really cool art programs, like learning how to draw, do ceramics, like painting. And so he was really creative. And also he was also a very pleasant student, from what his other friends and teachers had said about him. Yeah. And like Breonna Taylor, 26 years old, who died this year, which I won't even get into that. A lot of people, she's been on the news a lot lately, but her. She was like an example of someone who was trying to, make a better life for herself. Like she came from a family of other people who worked in like the medical field. So she was an EMT, and she was working as an emergency technician. And then she was also trying to go to nursing school, and she wanted to start a family with her boyfriend, and also had a very like bubbly and outgoing personality, according to her family, from what they had said. So yeah. And then last one that I'll note, and then I won't do anymore. But
no, this is great.
Yeah, Michael Lee Marshall. So he's not a super famous one, but his story was really interesting because he's like a 50-year-old man, and he has a mental illness of schizophrenia, and what's it? So sometimes, like socially, you know, when he's around people, especially people that don't know him, he may come off. I mean, he'll react in ways that might not seem normal. Like it might not seem like normal social interactions. So, you know, which maybe some people might take differently. But unfortunately for him, he was arrested for trespassing, and then while he was detained, he, you know, unfortunately was like assaulted by like 3-4 other officers, because he just like got up and was just kind of walking around, and they unfortunately just like assaulted him there, and he died shortly after that. So I just wanted to note these individuals in particular, just to kind of shed light about how, from also having working in like the Black brown community for most of my education career, it finding like all these names, just like the more and deeper I got into this hole of finding all these people, it was just really disheartening.
Yes.
For me, especially as an educator who, you know, tries really hard to bring hope to young students, especially Black and brown students, you know, to really encourage them that they can, you know, make good and better lives for them. But then, you know, when all this stuff is going on in the community, and especially since the pandemic and, you know, the protests, things have been, you know, shedding more and more light. It's just, I can only just imagine and feel for all of them. So that's what really prompted me to make this poster, to just say that, you know, it's enough. It really is enough, and there really needs to be change that needs to be made, on all kinds of levels, and whatever people can contribute, it's important, no matter how small or big it is. So that was what my main message was with creating this. So pretty much, like, if I'm to go just quickly into like the details of like the front of it, so like I had said, like with the casket, it's just kind of showing like these 3 figures, so like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, who were like the 3 pivotal figures who really kind of like added to the fire of these protests really erupting. It's kind of just showing them pulling themselves out of this casket and coming out of the shadows and darkness to really resemble how, even though that they are no longer here with us, their memory will live on through the people that, you know, remember all of them, and are doing the work to create that change that they helped start. And then in the back with all the roses, so it's supposed to be blood splattered on the roses. So as at the top, it's lightly splattered, and then it gets more and more saturated as you go down. So that is just to kind of show like the increase in bloodshed that has been happening through brutality, unfortunately. So, yeah. Yeah.
And on the back of that, it looks like you have the names of a whole bunch of individuals.
Yeah, so it's what I was able to fit. There is definitely way more, and unfortunately, I feel bad that I couldn't fit all of them. But that's also too where I feel like the education is key for people to seek that out themselves.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So then that's where it brings me to, you know, the hope that comes out of this, because I mean, I have noticed it, and I hope that others have noticed it too, that even though that this whole time has been a struggle, there has been some progress made, and for progress to continue to at least happen, like, people just need to keep, you know, doing their part. And so with the posters, I actually don't profit anything from them. I have 100% of the proceeds from whatever posters I do sell go to this really amazing nonprofit organization called Woke Kindergarten, which I can also put their info on the chat too, but this is like their website and their Instagram. But I've been following like this group for like a few years now, and I am just like in awe of the work that they do. And the founder of it is this really amazing person named Akia Gross, who was also an educator for a very long time, working specifically with kindergartners in the East Coast, and specifically in Black and Brown communities. And they have just this lovely way of really mobilizing young people to speak for themselves, speak out loud about what they're feeling, and not feel like they have to hide themselves, and are true to themselves. And not only that, that they love themselves for who they are as well, especially living in a world where, you know, they unfortunately aren't loved in certain circumstances. So they do a really amazing work to really help the next generation do better. And it's really great. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I put up the link for Miss Z's prints, so you can go and purchase those, support your project. And then I also put the Instagram for Woke Kindergarten, so people can go take a look at that. I would love it if you'd shared the other links for resources, so people can go and do their own education as well. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm very happy.
Yeah, that's really inspiring, the Woke Kindergarten. I'm really interested to see how that progresses.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm sorry if I went over time.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You had a very important message, and we built some extra padding in, so don't worry. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It was beautiful work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm going to reclaim my host position.
Okay.
All right.
I will go.
There you go. It always takes a minute to like find all the buttons that do all the things on this Zoom chat. All right. Oh, that was so beautiful. Okay, so I think our last winner got pushed up in the chat. Okay, so our last winner for the 8x10 print was Dylan Lohr, who is actually a friend of mine. Hi, Dylan. Enjoy your print. We will be connecting with you directly in order to get that print to you. And in the meantime, we've got another drawing surprise. At this point, everybody probably knows how this works, but let me do the screen share. Let me show you the thing. All right. This is that beautiful bowl that's going to Dylan. And we have this beautiful coupon with a lovely feather on it from Jess Graff. This is $10 off plus free shipping on any purchase off of her shop. So if you saw something today that you love, this would be perfect for that. All right, so who is going to be our lucky winner? I keep doing that. Stop share. There we go. I'm hitting the wrong button, guys. All right, so again, we're opening up for entries. Please give us your name and your email so that we can contact you to get your information to ship this out to you. Quick reminder that if you have questions for the artists, that they can answer them in the chat when they are done chatting with us. And if you would like to request some work that you see on here that you want to purchase, you can also do that there. And without further ado, let me bring on my next artist, who is going to be Renee and Claire. Okay, let's bring you guys on here. Let me switch host over to you. Hi, I see you. Where did the host thing go? Oh, here it is. Okay, great. I've been using it for every single person, and yet it still eludes me. I don't know how this keeps happening. So hi, ladies. You guys are joining us all the way from New York. This is a bi-coastal event, everybody, and it's so exciting. So this is Renee and Claire, and they are our painting duo. And yeah, tell us a little bit about how you guys came to be a painting duo, how you guys met.
Well, I hosted a little event with some friends where we all painted together, and I was really drawn to how different Claire's painting style was from my own, and I was just always sort of emotionally pulled by her pieces, and I said, you know, I would love to collaborate with you.
We found that we both were really inspired by the ocean, which kept coming up again and again as we were painting together, and so we're like, oh, maybe this is the thing, like maybe we should just paint the two of us and see what happens. And yeah, a lot of paintings came out of that.
Right? That's great. And then you guys are you guys both in the theater world? I feel like that's a thing too. Yes, so you both have done. And Claire, I know Renee because I knew her from back when I was doing theater. But do you also do scenic painting, Claire?
No, I do costumes, but I also went to
Okay.
Like, and so we had that in common too. And now we work with the Met together. So yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Renee also did costumes. You were in the
Yeah.
costume shop when I met you, but you also do scenic painting, right?
It,
Talk
a
about that?
long time ago,
A long
yeah.
time ago. Okay. Yeah, this is like 10 years ago that I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Still in our audience. But yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. So there's some of the techniques that I've seen on here, especially because you guys did this live event, the live painting event for aqueous isolations, where you both put on these white suits and you painted each other. And I noticed when you were doing that you used the bamboo sticks with the paintbrush.
Yes.
Harkening back to my scenic painting days.
Yes. So that's a whole scenic painting thing.
Yes, this whole series of 21 paintings is derived from these jumpsuits that we made because Claire and I had a show in Bushwick, Brooklyn at First Live where we wore these white jumpsuits and we painted each other with a live DJ. Shout out DJ Chef Kissy Fingers.
Well, because we were going to do this as just a gallery event and then everything shut down. So we're like, how is another way we can kind of like show people our process and have it as more of an event. And so, yeah, these drill jumpsuits, and we had silk scarves as well we wore on our heads, and like just to like have as mops for basically our paint, which soaked up all this paint that then we used as like backgrounds to paint on these little tiny pieces.
So we cut up the fabric and mounted it onto individual canvases, and then went in and really added some details and tried to, you know, create individual portraits of something that's near and dear to our hearts, which is ocean conservation, specifically coral. So each piece is dedicated to a specific coral, but I'd love to show the jumpsuits.
Yeah, show us the jumpsuits.
First. So let's see, share screen. This one, yeah. So here's and my jumpsuit. The one on the, I don't know if left and right is right. Well, the one on the wood is the one that I painted, and the one on the navy is the one that Claire painted. And you can see the silk scarf in one of them. And here's sort of like
on the opposite person, correct? Right?
Right.
Yes.
So you can see kind of a before and an after kind of thing.
And these are the bamboo sticks we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Mounted.
We had to like special order the bamboo sticks because we were trying to embrace some social distancing. So, you know, we wore the masks and goggles, and I mean, now we're in each other's pods, but you know, we wanted to have some distance, and I love the idea of bamboo. I feel like you really, you know, have some control over big things.
The 6 feet, but like in an actual literal stick with a paintbrush on the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So when we cut up the paintings, we used individual images of coral and gave each one a namesake and an inspiration source. And we mounted them as minis. So you know, because a lot of people were interested in our large scale works, which you can see in the background. The ones that are left, we did sell some, but these guys need homes. And we've reduced the prices, especially for Omni Open Studios.
Which you can make a request for that, everybody, in our chat, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, they're also viewable on the website, and there's like some beautiful detail shots of all the pieces. But you know, that's not what we're specifically here to talk about, which is the little guys.
How precious! Perfect for an apartment too. For some of us that are living in little teeny homes, how about little teeny art for your little teeny homes?
Yes, we've actually already sold 2, which is like super exciting. Like before the event even started, we've sold 2 of these guys, which is really exciting. And so some of them are mounted on silk, and some of them are mounted on denim. Yeah, so that's one of the silk guys, and that is.
And so there's sort of a different textural quality from the silk versus the denim.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, the silk has like a shimmery kind of quality. The denim is,
Yeah.
you
I
can
actually really enjoy, I mean, of course the silk is beautiful, but the denim is so interesting because it's got that like gritty texture to it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the jumpsuits have all these seams on them. So
Yeah. So in some of the, oh, I'm gonna expose some light right here.
that's okay. It's fine.
In some of them, you actually can see the seams.
Yes.
The little flat-felled seams. This is actually one of my favorites. I love this one.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I like that color combination.
This one even has the seam. I think this is like a hip seam across it.
Yeah.
Been painted into.
Nice.
It's kind of fun to work with.
Yeah, that's so cool. What a great concept. And it's a conservation kind of thing too, because you're repurposing these jumpsuits that otherwise, you know, wouldn't necessarily be for something. Like when you work in a jumpsuit, you wear it out until you're done with it and then it's just kind of trash. But in this case, you guys did this cool event with it and then you took that and you made it into a material to create art out of.
Yeah, and we're both in costuming, so I feel like there's kind of a, you know, a disposable nature to theater, where things kind of get used and then left, whereas these are getting repurposed and will hopefully, you know, bring color and light to people's lives and a reminder about, you know, the choral and something that I'd love to touch on is how when
Oh yeah, that's a coral.
the some species of coral, when they're under stress due to temperature changes, they first go bleach, but then as like a desperate cry for the algae that they want to come back and act as a sunscreen, they become fluorescent. So like fluorescent pink and blue and yellow and they let out this cry for help. And so that was something that we focused on was bringing that palette into the jumpsuits because we wanted to sort of showcase the fluorescent.
And I think scientists only started finding out about this like 5 to 10 years ago. It just like they started noticing from shots above, some satellite shots, that actually the coral was glowing and they didn't know why. There's actually a really amazing film, Chasing Coral, which is all about that, which was like a kind of inspiration for a lot of our work as well. Yeah.
I think it's on Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And
can you guys put the name of it when you get off on the chat? Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
It's actually New York City Climate Week here as well, so it kind of like seemed relevant to
that meshed together nicely. Yeah. Awesome. That's beautiful. Okay, so we talked about your minis. We saw your jumpsuits. So yeah, they're so cute. Yeah, show us a few more minis because I think the detail shots, it seems like people are appreciating those.
And we, you know, we printed out individual images of the coral that we would put side by side while we were painting in order to try to, you know, capture kind of like an essence or a texture
sometimes, yeah.
Color, movement.
And even if we didn't notice that we were being inspired by it, somehow at the end it seemed like, oh, this is like somehow references this in a way just subconsciously, which was really interesting.
Yeah, they would always somehow, oh, you can really see it in this one. This is one of the silk guys. This is black coral. And if you go on the website, each of these is listed individually with like some really interesting information about that specific coral or just, you know, how things, oh, I love this one.
This is the mountainous star coral, which it's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to get really close with that guy.
Yeah. And I see spatter, which is one of my favorite paintings.
Our signatures at this point.
You gotta throw some spatter on there. Spatter.
Great way to get out some, you know, isolation, aggression.
Absolutely. Okay, well, so I put the link for the minis on there. You guys are gonna share the film that you're talking about from Netflix. What was the name of that again?
Chasing Coral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check out that phenomenon that's happening with the coral now. which is like in a weird way, it's not really a good thing that this is happening to the coral, but it's
Well, yeah, but it's the coral telling us that it's getting to that.
It's like
yeah, I mean, it's making humans aware that we need to do something now, which is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually, I'm not sure where Lophelia is, but that was a specific coral that scientists are using because Lophelia is particularly able to withstand oil spills and, you know, like acidity changes, but is like really sensitive to temperature change. So they're sort of using her as a lab rat.
We've made all these corals female, by the way.
They are all ladies. But they're all named after their specific genus and species, which is why they have such impossible
Latin-based names. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Well, everybody go and check out their site. I posted the link in the chat. It's a little ways up now, so you might have to scroll to get to it, but yeah.
Again.
Yeah, that's true. I can put it again. Let's see. I can put it again. So many things are happening with our chat. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, it's up there again. It's fresh. It's at the bottom. Well, thank you.
And they're super affordable. They're like, what, 35 to
65.
65 is their top.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, give us a price range. Good idea. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
I'm going to reclaim my host position. All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Okay, back again. So we have a winner for our drawing, our latest drawing. So that was for the $10 plus free shipping coupon from Jess Graff. And the winner is Jackie Cooper. Congratulations, Jackie. We'll be sending you information about how to get that like coupon code or whatever that's going to be sent to you directly. All right, and then we have another drawing. They just keep happening. You can't avoid the drawings, guys. Let's see. What is happening over there? My preview. Oh, here it is. Okay, there it is. Found it. Got too many things going on my desktop here, guys. All right, so these are some beautiful botanical cards coming from Shannon Bedrogi. And these are done, these are hand printed. So yeah, this is what's up next for the drawing, and you'll be able to put your name and email into the chat box to receive these cards. The entries are open now. We'll leave it open for 5 minutes. Everybody put your name and email who would like these beautiful cards, and then once 5 minutes has elapsed, we will close that down, and I will announce the winner after our next artist. So who am I bringing on next? I am bringing on Emily Miller. All right, Emily, let me switch the host position over to you. I can do this. There it is. Okay. Make host. There you are. Hi.
Hello.
You feel empowered by the position of host?
Yes. Little thing in the corner. You are the host now.
You are the host now.
You can do anything.
It's all up to you. You can do anything with the show. All right. So, Emily, you do ocean-themed and environmental art. Yes. So we're going to talk about one of your big projects that you have going on, GhostNet Landscapes, which I'm familiar with from back when I was still in Portland. You were doing the baskets then, which we're going to come back to, but right now we're going to focus on your sea stories.
Thank you. You were actually the very first person in Portland who got me material for GhostNet Landscape.
What?
Gwyn has a big truck. And I found this massive fishing net that I could access on the coast, and I had to get it into Portland somehow. So that was the first big haul in Portland was with you.
It was a pivotal point of our friendship.
It was. Can I fill your truck with fishing rope?
I was like, yes, of course you can. I wish we could show them that photo of you standing on top of it. It's such a great
giant
photo.
mound.
Yeah, the giant mound. it like, I have a big pickup and it filled up and was like above, like a good foot above the edge of the pickup. It was pretty
We're
impressive.
like, I think this is okay.
This is a good amount of fishing rope. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that
So
was
this is
cool.
what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about, yes.
But a lot more. And that's also what I've got mostly in the background of the shot. So
This
about
is
2.5 years ago, I went back home to Kauai to visit, live in Portland area now in Oregon. And I saw that the volunteers on Kauai are they're now collecting about 10,000 pounds a month of this fishing rope that washes up from around the Pacific Ocean. And just because of the ocean currents happens to end up in Hawaii. And I didn't realize how much there was and just the mass of material. And when I came back here, I thought that's what I need to do with an art installation. I had already been stitching baskets out of this material that I found here and there on the coast, but seeing how much of it there was really the turning point, light bulb moment for me of this is what I want to do with an art installation. So starting last year, I've been bringing as much fishing rope as I possibly can into public spaces, art galleries, colleges, and then inviting communities to join me in transforming it into art. Because I feel like there's more awareness around ocean conservation issues and ocean pollution issues, maybe not necessarily ghost net, which is abandoned fishing rope, but just in general that we are polluting the ocean. People know that. But there's not so much focus on, well, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do to advance this beyond a problem and start thinking of new creative solutions?
Right.
So that's where I just got the idea. Let's just bring this material in and let people who haven't experienced it get their hands into it and create sort of an open space for people to play and have new ideas and not feel like they have to come up with something, but just, let's just see what happens.
Right.
So this year, I'm doing a little bit of a different project with it because of the necessity for physical distancing. It's called Sea Stories, and it's actually been a great opportunity to make it more accessible because we're doing it as a distance project, and it's also going to be available fully online. So more people are going to get to see it than if it was just an in-person show in Portland.
Right.
So the basic idea with Sea Stories is you get a kit of ghost net and reclaimed fishing rope. You make a puppet with it. You tell a puppet story, 2 minutes, 5-minute story, and you send it back to us. We film your puppet and story on this beautiful backdrop we're going to make out of ghost net. And then it goes up on YouTube. It goes up on the project website, and it's also going to be broadcast in the physical exhibit we're doing in a window display in Portland.
Nice.
And I have a picture of some puppets that have been made.
Let's see photo examples.
Let's see if this works. Yes?
Yes. I see a lion.
These are the 3 puppets that I've gotten so far, and I gotta say, people have gone way beyond what I thought I was gonna get. So I had a couple people say, these are really intimidating, and I really hope that that's not what everybody thinks, because it can literally be anything. And just tell us its quick story and send it in. And there's details about how to do all of those things on the project website.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I will put it in the chat.
That, so we'll have to add that
cool.
to the chat later. Okay. But yeah, definitely we'll put a link on there for the puppets. So that's such an amazing idea. I love the adaptations that you guys are, it's adapting to our current situation and coming up with a fun idea and a way to include people still, so you still get that hands-on experience with this interesting material.
And I gotta say, this is a partnership with Portland Textile Month, and they really were the inspiration for me to make this happen this year, rather than just saying, I'm just gonna wait, I'll do it next year, I'm just gonna, hide and just wait until things go back to normal, which I don't think is actually going to happen.
No.
Because so many things are changing and have already changed. But Portland Textile Month is going ahead with lots of virtual and distanced events in a way that's really exciting. So I'm happy to be a part of that.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, we can't just hide in our holes. This still is a year. We still have to do things. So we got to freak out for a few months, but now we're back at it, right?
And you too. Thank you for making this happen. This is awesome.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. And yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Same thing for me. I was like, we still have to do something. We have to have a solution. So with that in mind, I'd love to see your baskets
Yes.
let's see this demo.
So what I do, other than the sort of, I don't know, social practice thing of getting other people to do whatever they do, but the art that I make with this material is stitched baskets.
Oh, so cute.
So here's an example of a little one. This is one of the few that I actually have available direct on my website right now.
Yes.
And they're actually stitched on the sewing machine in the background, and I don't know if I can get close enough here. It's a zigzag stitch.
Yes.
So you can actually see how it's held together. And now I'm going to get working on.
We're gonna see it happen.
Yeah.
Guys, have you guys ever seen a basket be born? You've really got like total technique here with holding this over your thumb as you go. Like this is 100 baskets born technique, right? Like how many baskets do you think you've made?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Hundreds, yeah, because I did
hundreds.
36 or something like that for Oceana's fundraiser last year. Remember all those giant blue baskets that I made? I made so many blue baskets in a row, and then I've also done a lot just for other stuff. So
it looks so
let's
natural.
See.
It's like
I think my hand was sort of in the way, so let me see if I can sort of do this.
Okay. I mean, whatever's still safe, you know, like. That is so cool.
So yeah, it just goes round and round in circles, and the basket grows upwards, and when it's tall enough, then it's done. So this is just a long rope, and it's getting stitched in. My max rope size is what I can stuff under the presser foot of my sewing machine.
Makes sense, yes.
That's my limit. That's
your limiting factor right there. Can I ask, if you wanted to make a basket, like I see there's a really tall one, the orange and yellow one in the background here, and that's probably not all one rope. So at some point you have to do a transition. What are the transitions like when you switch from one rope to the other?
So I sort of open up the end of it. The end of this rope is already nicely opened.
Frame.
It's a great tassel. And let's see, I've got another one right here actually. So you sort of weave them into each other and then just stitch over the line. Sometimes I'll also leave them sort of out like a tassel.
Yeah.
So that sticks out the side of the basket.
There's fringe on some of your baskets. It's so fun.
It's such a weird thing to be doing that it's fun to, like, you know, I can do anything with it.
Yeah, you can do anything. No one's done this before. It's weird. Like, yeah, I love it. Okay, well, so we can also see some other things on your table here that are sort of hiding back there. There's more sea urchin bowls, which we recognize from the drawing that we did earlier. You had these little baby ones. Is this the baby ones?
This is the one.
Oh,
and I actually have one more of these on my website shop that's available right now in the aqua color, and I have more in white and black as well.
Those are such a sweet little size. And then of course you've got some larger ones I can see back there, and they've got there's different colors, and these are all on the website.
Yes.
Right. And then I also see some little turtles. Can you tell us about the turtles?
Yes. Yeah, so this was another ocean conservation project I did starting a couple of years ago. I made 100 of them to start with, and I've done it a couple of times now, so I've made several hundred of these. Clearly, I like making lots of things.
Yes.
And I made 100 after I read that most of the sea turtles that are hatching around the world are being born female, because sea turtles are reptiles, and the temperature of their incubation of their eggs determines whether they're male or female. So the sand is getting hotter, and now they're all female, which is bad news for the species 40 or 50 years from now, because it's such a long-term thing. Turtles live a long time, and they don't reach maturity for a long time. But just thinking about, okay, so in 50 years, we're going to think, oops, there's no more turtle. because they can't reproduce.
Right.
And I made 100 to sort of see, well, if 99%, which was the number, 99% are being born female now, only 1% is male coming out of major hatching sites. What does that look like
Yeah.
physically? So I sculpted 100 tiny turtles.
Makes sense.
And one of them was a different color to represent the male, which isn't real. Turtles are all the same color, males and females, but
Right.
just to sort of see, what that was. So I've got them all, the ones that are left over still available.
Are incredibly detailed little pieces of work too.
Each one is different. They all have their own little unique personalities.
Yes. How many, so you did, hundreds of these. How long does it take to make a single turtle?
That is always a difficult question for me to answer for any of my work, because I tend to work in
Batches.
like production batches. So I'll do like all the flippers and then all the eggs for, like 20 at a time or whatever.
Right.
Same with the bowls, and the urchin bowls, and also the baskets.
Yeah.
How long to make one turtle?
It's a lot of math.
I'd say if I just had to sit down and make one from scratch,
Yeah.
I could probably make 2 in a day, 3 maybe. I start with a bunch of, it's a 7-part mold.
Yeah.
So I have like a separate mold for every flipper, and the top of the head and the bottom of the shell. So I have to put all those together.
Right. Yeah, and then after that, you're making the little eggshell as well, which is made from a different type of clay than the turtle, right? Or is it the same clay, not glazed?
Yes, yeah. So the egg is porcelain, and the turtles are stoneware.
That's what I thought. Yeah, we talked about this a million years ago when we first met. When I moved to Portland, this is actually 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
it feels like a million years ago.
That's when I first met you.
Yeah, it was. We met at, it was an open studio, just like this one, only in person, because that was back then. And yeah, I remember talking about the turtles and being blown away by the level of detail, the fact that you switch from stoneware to porcelain clay bodies, and like how that really affects what you're holding in your hand. It's a shame that we can't pass these around, because they're so cool to see, just the way it feels so different from the turtle body to the turtle egg. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that. That is something that I feel like is really important to a lot of my work, is the way it feels in your hands.
The way it feels in your hands. I know.
Yeah.
And it's one of the kind of the sad things about what's going on now. But listen, people, if you want to hold one of these turtles in your hand, you can buy it, and then you get to hold it whenever you want. So that's the lesson to learn. The takeaway from today is you can always purchase it and find out what it feels like. All right, and then also I want to talk about your paintings. You've got a whole painting behind you.
Yes, I also paint. I'm one of those artists who does all the things.
Everything. Those are my favorite artists. Is the everything artist.
Yeah, sometimes I think maybe my life would be easier if I was just a painter, or if I just made ghost knit baskets, and then I was like, no, I can't. I have to do it all.
You're happier or more mentally okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, so you've got 2 behind you right now.
Yeah, and those are actually both Cannon Beach, here on the Oregon coast. I moved here from Hawaii in 2014, so I have a lot of work of Hawaii as well. And I've been a plein air painter, so you go outside and you paint what you're looking at in the landscape, basically, is what that fancy term means. Since, oh my gosh, 2005, I think, when a friend of mine started, we started a group to go out and paint together around the island. And when I moved here, it had been so much fun. It was such a great way to get out and experience nature. Because, if you go somewhere and just go through, this is a nice place. I visited Cannon Beach. It's really different than sitting down and painting it and studying it for a couple of hours. Yeah. So most of the work I do is plein air. I do some studio work as well, but mostly it gets me out.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So the paintings are also on the site. So right now I'm posting in the chat. This is a link to Emily's shop where you can find turtles or urchin bowls and the paintings.
And the ghost knit baskets as well.
And the ghost knit baskets are on there as well. And I would like, Emily, if you could do me a favor when you pop off, to add the link to the puppets, because I don't have that.
I will.
Please post that for us. That'd be great. So people can get puppet kits and be part of this project. How cool is that? And
so if you're in Portland, there's 3 locations in town that you can pick them up. And there's also a link on the project website that I will post. to get one mailed to you.
One mail to you. Cool. That's so awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, Emily. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing
The
this.
studio space is so beautiful and full of color.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to reclaim my host position. All right, everybody. Well, this is like, I don't know how it's going for you, but it's like moving right along for me. Maybe because I'm part of all the things that are happening. But okay, so we have a winner to announce that I need to go find. Let's see. So for our last piece that was up there, Lisa Bedrogi has won. What was it that we put up? It was, let's see. It was Shannon's botanical cards. That's so fun. Her mother won her cards. It's perfect. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So we're gonna do another drawing. You knew it was coming. I keep telling you, they just keep coming. Those are the beautiful botanical cards that are coming to Lisa Bedrogi. And then let's see, here we go. Remember the Black Lives Matter poster that we got to hear the entire story for? This beautiful, beautiful Black Lives Matter poster. You can win one. So this is what you'd be receiving. Please put your name into the chat along with your email. Very important that we get your email so we can contact you and we know where to send things to. And another quick reminder, there are links all throughout the chat page that go to all of the artists' stuff. So make sure and scroll through that and go and check out those sites. At the top, I have the program, which I'm going to repost again at the very bottom so that you guys can see the links a little more easily without having to scroll all the way up to the top again. But that's going to have all of the artists' websites and everything on it. If you have questions, if you have requests for pieces that you'd like to purchase, the chat is there at your disposal. So let's go ahead and move on to the next person. Yes, chat, I should have explained this real quick. The entries are open right now on the chat. Go ahead and enter your name, enter your email. We're gonna close that up in 5 minutes and I will announce it after the next artist. All right, I've got it together now. We're gonna bring on Shannon Bedrogi. All right. Let's see, where are you, Shannon? Hi.
Hello.
Hello, I have made you the host.
Awesome.
And then real quick, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to find your press. Your press is at literally the very bottom of my list. Okay. So, all right, this is Shannon. Shannon was the creator of those beautiful cards that we just saw. And I have known Shannon since we were little teeny people. We were like 7 in Girl Scouts, I think, when we met.
Yeah, I didn't do Girl Scouts for very long, but
yeah. Just enough to meet you.
Yep, I got all I needed out of it.
Yeah. Me too. I got like 3 friends out of that. I was done with Girl Scouts. That was good.
Yeah.
So, okay, you have a really unique studio space. This is a kitchen studio, right? A converted kitchen.
Yeah, I'll try to show a little bit. So yeah, it's a kitchen space that I have converted into my studio. Yeah, it's really amazing to have a sink in a studio space. And like to have all of the built-in storage has been really great. Yeah, I went from, like a bedroom studio to then a shared bedroom studio, and so this is like definitely the most space I've ever had, and it's really amazing. Really amazing.
So nice to have space.
Every artist privilege.
Space. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. Oh, and tell us about the hood. You told me this cool thing about the hood over the stove.
Oh, yeah. So there is above me a hood to what was a stove, and now it's where my workspace is. You can hear it. It's turned on. Wow, great.
I believe you.
Takes all those chemicals right out.
But it's great, yeah, because it helps protect your lungs by pulling some of the chemicals up and away from, even though it was intended to do this with like smoke from something you're cooking, it can also have this dual purpose for
exactly
space. So yeah, it's got like all these cool features just built into it, which is so neat.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in your studio space? You're making prints.
Yeah. So I recently got an etching press, which has been a dream for quite some time. And primarily what I'm focusing on right now are paper lithography, which is an alternative printmaking process on fabric works.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like creating textiles, printed textiles. Definitely very inspired by kind of like the 70s, like textile feminist artists. And like that is definitely, I'm like starting to find more and more things there. But yeah, I will sometimes add like embroidery or like kind of figure out ways to connect and like collage different pieces of fabric too. So, you know, it's definitely a medium where there's a lot of room to explore and, you know, kind of patch all the different pieces together.
Very cool. And
Yeah.
you're gonna show us some of this, right?
I am. Yeah, so I have here on the press.
So real quick, I tried to turn the camera on for your press, and your press, we have to respect your press's privacy according to Zoom. So your press has to give us permission for us to see it, which makes a lot of sense actually, now that I think about it. Like if you had,
There we go.
yeah, you don't want to be able to turn on other people's cameras. That's, what if they were doing something, you know?
That does make sense.
It does make sense, yeah. But okay, here's the press. It is now the participant in our thing here.
Yeah, so I have a print which I will, after I do the demonstration, I'll show you one that like is all inked up. But it's inked up, it's got the muslin fabric on top of it. And yeah, let's have it go through.
Look at that hand crank.
I know. Before I used to do this by hand just like using a hand burnishing it, and it worked fine, but I did find that the fabric would shift around.
Yeah.
You just like couldn't get as consistent of prints, but I also kind of like leaning into that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you can already see where it's come through on the back. How neat. Whoa, look how pretty that is. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, cool. And these are like ferns that we're looking at?
Yeah, so these are, I have kind of, a lot of my recent work has been like walking around and taking pictures of people's gardens, or like just kind of like my space of like what I'm like interacting with.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is my my partner's parents' backyard.
Nice.
It's they have some ferns back there, so
gotta use every resource you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we sort of skipped this, but we can bounce back to it. What you're using to transfer that image onto the actual muslin is so cool. You explained this process to me the other night, and it blew me away that you could do it with this, because I'd always thought of like the transfer piece to be something more tangible. So
yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So I use photocopies, and I'm sorry I'm not like as tech.
That's okay.
I'm getting there.
We're all
but yeah, so I use photocopies. So this is one here that has been inked up, and I use like a oil-based ink. And because oil and water don't mix, the ink attaches to the photocopy, because the toner is like made kind of like of a wax that is melted into the paper. Mm-hmm. With the laser process.
Yeah, laser.
So that's what the ink attaches to, and then I like wipe it away with a sponge. It's cool because it's like very delicate and very like, there's like a certain amount of like things that can go wrong kind of, and like sometimes leaning into those things is kind of cool. I think I'm going to shut the press off now, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Great.
Bye, press. Bye, press.
But yeah, it's a process I learned in school that I found was one that I could do like without a press.
Right.
Which after school was kind of a big thing. I was like, I still want to do printmaking, but like, what are things that I can do that I don't need to actually like have a big old press for?
Right.
Which like now I have the space for and I can do, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's been
It's
like a decade in the making.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was one that I could do just with my hands. So it was cool.
Yeah, when you're like, I had the same thing happen to me. When you're in school, they have this whole studio setup that has like, for instance, I'm a ceramic artist, so I like has the wheels, it has the slab rollers, it has the kilns, you know, like all the things you need right there. There's a glaze room, a room dedicated to glazing, and then you leave and you're like, oh, I have a kitchen table. Right.
Exactly.
Like, still buy the clay. I guess I'm doing this with a rolling pin now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you have to make that transition, and it's like, this, I was not prepared for this. There should be a class in just setting up your studio. All right. So, awesome. So you've got, these prints are up online on your site, or you've got some prints up online that people
I do have some, yeah. I'm still in the process of building a website and getting all of that stuff kind of photographed and up. It's, you know, there's
really good, though. Just so you know, it looks really good. She got so much done in such a small amount of time. So those are up on the website. You've also got those cards. So there's more card sets that can be purchased.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I have this run so far is a like primary set. So I've got, you know, a yellow, red.
So cool. Envelope.
Blue. And yeah, they're all like different pieces of prints. So, and it's both sides.
Ooh, I didn't realize they were both sides.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, you know, nice little card sets. I definitely feel like, you know, I'm not the best pen pal, but like I do enjoy letter writing, and I like, it's been a really like nice thing to do during this time.
Especially right now. This is a great time for cards. Like if and we're all in varying levels of like, am I depressed today? I can't even tell. So it's like, it's always nice to get a postcard. I know I have friends that send me postcards, and when I get one, I'm like, this is the highlight of my day. So, you know, consider, you can do this for your friends by purchasing cards and sending them to them.
Exactly.
Exactly. Another cool adaptation that you are doing to adapt to our current situation is the workshops, the online embroidery workshops. So tell us about those a bit.
Yeah, so that this year has definitely been a year of like building and like trying a lot of new things. And so I started teaching through the Vera Project, which is a Seattle-based DIY all ages space, and like community centers. So they have, you know, they would put on shows, they would put on, they'd have like classes and stuff in person. But so now they've transitioned to online. So I've had the opportunity to work with them and kind of build this workshop series called Mono Merch, because it's like a singular merch item that you make. And so I've played in bands for the past few years, Boys and Soar. And for those bands, I would like make embroidered merch, or like I'd make embroidered like show posters. And it's like a really cool, like unique merch item. So the class is pretty much talking about how to, like what merch is, like kind of what DIY is as like a community. And like you learn 5 stitches, and then there's like projects, then y'all kind of like work together. I'm on my 3rd cohort right now, and like every time it's like, you know, 5 or 6 people, and it's really nice little community space that is built that you get to know each other, and you share these like works that you're the things that you're working on, and their discussions. So it's a really nice, like, a really nice way to meet new people, because I did recently move this year, so it's been hard to meet people. So it's nice. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice for that. But yeah, I have classes up October and November. They're on Tuesdays from 7 to 7:30 to 8, or no, 7 to 8:30. Yeah, and then, I mean, another project that I'm kind of working on right now, or that I am working on right now, is these weekly raffles. And so they are of like the prints that I've made. There's 16 of them. I'm on week 5 right now. So they're going to be going for a while, and they're generally a little bit past a week. But each of the prints are benefiting different organizations or people, different like projects that work specifically with like people of color, like Black and Indigenous, LGBTQ plus. So yeah.
And you're doing different one for each raffle, and this is all on Instagram, right? That's where.
Yes, yeah. This is an Instagram thing. I don't know how to like really talk about it outside of Instagram yet, but maybe I'll work on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're all learning new things to approach it. I mean, definitely bringing it to something like this is a great way to push it, promote it. Yes, promote it.
Yeah.
Another thing that we didn't mention when we were talking about your workshops, but so supposing I don't have everything I need to do the embroidery, what would I do then? Do you have something available, like maybe a kit?
I do. Yeah. So in developing these workshops, I've made kits where you get all the supplies that you need, needles, threads. There are little patches, so you get also a sore patch to practice on.
Nice.
And I made workbooks that, where do I have one? I think I left them upstairs, but I do have, there's workbooks that come with it too, so you can like do the learning outside of the screen, which a lot of what we do is on the screen. Yeah. It's really nice to have things that take you out of the screen.
And the workbooks, you wrote the workbooks, right? That was something we put together?
Yeah.
And
here, I think I have one. I think I have some back here.
Ah, she's got one. And you printed these on your press, right?
What?
The workbooks were printed on the press, right?
No, not quite. But I do have a paper cutter back there.
Okay. They were cut on the paper cutter. Okay.
Yeah. And they're fun. They're all different.
Oh, look at those colors.
Page colors.
It's very zine, that's what it makes
it is.
It's very zine, yeah.
It all fits in with the DIY thing,
I love it. Okay, so I'm posting Shannon's links. This is a link to her shop where you can get prints and cards, and then a link to her workshops. And then she's going to give you her Instagram so that you can take part in the raffles.
Yes, yeah. The winner will be announced Sunday, so it would be, which is tomorrow. So if you can get your donation in for Black Star Farmers, they're an organization here who are like building farms and like spaces for growing food.
Nice.
Yeah.
Black Star Farmers.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for doing this, Gwen. This is an amazing opportunity, and just like really appreciate that you made this space for me and all the other artists.
Oh, I appreciate you. All right, well, bye, Shannon. I'm going to reclaim my host. We've got some follow-up stuff, people, so please stick around. We still have one more drawing to do after this. Okay. Oh, I've already reclaimed the host because I was trying to turn on her camera. That's what's happening. Okay, so a couple more things. We should do the winner from our last drawing. We are doing another drawing after this, so please stay here with us. Let me scroll up and see if I can find that the winner from the last one. Okay, so the winner of the Black Lives Matter poster is Jean Camp. And so congratulations, Gene Camp. We're going to send that to you. We'll use your email to contact you about how we're going to get that to you. And we're going to do one more drawing. This is actually with one of my pieces because I'm also an artist. So let me share the screen. Here we go. Let's view that in a nice way. Look how pretty. So this is one of my air plant cones. The air plant is not included because I don't think they'd ship well, but the cone is. So if you want to sign up to win one of those air plant cones, you can do so now by putting your name and your email into our entries. And then, yeah, we'll give it 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you some more information and chat with you a little bit more while we're waiting for that to come through. So let's see, what did I want to tell you about? Well, I also want to let everybody answer their final questions. So if you have questions for artists that you didn't get to ask during their parts or whatever, you can do that now. There's a way to do private messages too, if you want to go that route, or you can just go ahead and ask them in the chat and they'll hopefully get back to you. If you would like to request something that you saw, you can do that in the chat. I saw one of my artists reposted our program, which is great. So if you can go back up to that, the program has everybody's website. It also has the webpage for Omni Open Studios that you use to get to where you are now. And that page has a link on it where you can tip the artists for coming today, pay them for their time. There's just a little button where you can enter any amount that you want to contribute. So that's a great way to show your support if you don't want to purchase something directly, or if you want to do both. That's great too. So there's a good way to show support is to go to that link, which I think I'm actually going to post again. Let's get that for you. You can see my working face here while I dig for it. Let's see. One more announcement. So two of our painting duo, Renee and Claire, are going to be doing sort of an after party where you can meet with them more directly and another Zoom meeting. And they will tell you about the process and show you more of their paintings. So if you guys want to hop onto that Zoom after this Zoom, I'm going to post the link for that for you as well. So let's get that guy up. So I'm thinking the 4 o'clock meeting, since we're well past 3:30 at this point. What do you guys think? 4 o'clock sounds good? All right, let's get that in there. So first we have Zoom meeting details for Renee and Claire. And then we have the link to Omni Open Studios if you guys want to tip our artists. Everybody worked really hard to be here and they all deserve your support. Okay. There you go, there's that. Let's see, what are my other announcements? Yeah, also, if you need a refresher on what you just saw here, there are also bios for each artist, links to their websites, and photos of their work on that same page that I just posted, the Omni Open Studios page. So you can go there if you guys want to go back and have a look at what you just saw, because it was sort of a blur. I mean, for me anyway, I don't know how it was for you. And then the last thing that I want to say before we all sign off is that I want to do this again. I'm thinking that I'm going to do it in November, and I'm going to be putting up a call for artists pretty soon. So if you are an artist and you would like to participate in the next version of this, take a look at that website, because I'm going to put it the same link. It's going to be gwynethmanley.com/OmniOpenStudios. I'm going to change it from today's event page over to the call for artists page later this week. So if you guys want to join in and be part of that, that's where you can do that. Sound good? Okay. All right. That's the extent of all of my things. I'm going to open this up so that some of my artists can talk again if they would like to. So yeah, if you guys want to come back and say anything, make any announcements of your own, that's totally allowed. You guys can do that. Yeah, and in the meantime, I'll just, you know, chill out here and do a little dance.
Can I say really quick before like even our guests leave and while we have everyone here, can we just like give an applause to our lovely host Gwen for just organizing all of this for all of us, because she has just been a rock star throughout it all.
Thank you.
Email, social media posting, like you are amazing. So if we can all just like applaud.
You're so kind.
Yeah.
You're so kind. And don't forget the Bail Project. Here's the Bail Project shirt. support the Bail Project by supporting us, or you can support the Bail Project on your own by going to their website, which is thebailproject.org. So yes, thank you guys all for being here. It has been a really fun day, a fun and chaotic day.